Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead of them and their companies. I'm your host, Olivia Salmons, and in each episode, we'll uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, I'm honoured to be joined by Patrick Sebastien, founder of Patrick Sebastien Performance, a performance coaching brand dedicated to unlocking human potential through breathwork, movement, and mindset training. Patrick believes that our greatest assets lies in what he calls human technology, our nervous system, breath, and movement, the foundation tools we all carry within. Whether you're an entrepreneur under pressure, a leader managing a team, or someone striving for peak performance without burnout, Patrick is here for you. Patrick, welcome to Founders Future. Thank you so much for joining me here today.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you here, and I'm excited to dive in and learn more about your journey. So typically with all of my guests, I do actually like to start at the beginning. So if you don't mind taking me back to what you was doing before you jumped into the coaching space, and then from there, what was the motivation behind it?
Before coaching, I studied in design. So I did a certificate in graphic design. It was design and illustration, actually, was the name of the program. Worked as a graphic designer for several years, and that transitioned into web design. But then the way that I got into coaching from there was realizing that sitting at a computer 12 hours a day just wasn't the life that I was looking for. And my first ever coaching experience was actually in martial arts. So I had an opportunity to teach a martial arts class after training in it for several years, and that changed everything. I suddenly realized that I loved teaching, I loved coaching, I loved the physicality of it, and that's how my journey started.
Beautiful, I love that. Do you mind me asking what martial arts it was?
Muay Thai, and then eventually mixed martial arts, so MMA.
Beautiful, I love that. And I mean, it kind of goes in fully with what you're trying to portray the coaching as well, because it is a lot of it is like movement work, breathing, slow control, and just mindset over brute force as well when it
A
comes
hundred
to.
percent. And I think actually training professional fighters. So I had a chance for a few years to train some professional fighters, and I realized that the best fighters weren't the ones that were the most technically efficient or the ones that were the strongest physically. It was actually the ones that were strongest mentally. And so that's where I really locked into this idea that if I can train someone to be stronger mentally, well, that's going to translate into all aspects of their performance. But someone who's weak mentally, no matter how strong they are physically, is probably going to struggle. So that's kind of where the idea of performance coaching and focusing on the mind as well as the body came in.
Yeah, I love it. And it's often overlooked as well because the brain, as much as it obviously is the brain, it's the biggest muscle in the body. It's something that actually controls your whole body. So we have to train that and look after that as much as the rest of us. So let's dive into the business a little bit more then.
Sure.
So walk me through, like, who would you say is your ideal customer, like at this point? And then from there, how is it you help them and how do you support them?
Well, for years it was athletes, really focused on the sports training. So worked with, first of all, professional fighters. I then had a chance to work with professional athletes in other sports, including golf, including tennis, including hockey players, just, any player that was really looking or athlete that was looking to improve performance, both physically and mentally. And
Mm,
then in the last few years, I started to realize that a lot of the tools that I've developed, whether it be breath training, whether it be optimizing workouts, whether it be some of these mental training practices, they translate to anything, right? Because whether you're in a corporate space, whether you're a school teacher, whether you're an athlete, at the end of the day, we're all human beings and we're all using the same basic human technology in order to elevate our performances. And so I wanted to not limit myself to the world of sports and athletes and really be able to bring this to a much larger market, which is, I think, the corporate space.
yeah, 100%. And as you say, mindset's mindset. No matter what you're doing, you have to make sure you're at peak performance. So let's live in that zone of brilliance and help anyone that's in there. So, how is it you support them then? So is this done on a one-to-one level? Like, what would it be like to work with you, Patrick?
So, I mean, this has changed obviously over the years. I think originally I would spend an hour with them in the gym, or I would spend an hour with them on a call, and we would go through different protocols and different ways of training, right? Different training modalities. But more recently, what I started to do is I want to create experiences that are highly customized. And this is where AI comes in. So AI is something that I started working with pretty extensively about 6 months ago. And both, first of all, for myself, I wanted to see, okay, I know a lot of people are using AI. AI is everywhere right now. It's I mean, it's obviously a big part of the future of humanity, really. But I wanted to see how can I use this to optimize my life? How can it improve my training? How can it improve my health? How can it improve my business performance? And once I started to see how customized these solutions were becoming to me, I started to realize, wait, I could do this for others. And so now the biggest difference now is the customization level that I can provide people, whether it's an individual or a team or a company, based
Mm.
on the information that I'm able to get from them through our interactions. So one of the biggest things that I've developed is this kind of information gathering process where I'm creating forms so that I can get as much information as I can about you, the individual, or you, the team. And then based on that information, I can then use AI and customize it, but with a formula that I call like HXAI, which is human experience meets artificial intelligence, because it's not generic coaching. It's based on my 20 years of coaching
Yeah.
experience, but optimized and elevated through AI customization. So that's the main thing that I'm focused on right now.
Love it. And it's completely tailored to them as well. So it's even more in depth to who they are and their goals moving forward, along with obviously your expertise on the back of that as well.
Oh,
Um,
unbelievable. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
beautiful. And then, so walk me through how you go about acquiring your customers then. So, like in terms of marketing, like what channels and what methods are you finding most effective in reaching that right person to work with?
I think, like I said, like before, it was a lot of like for the past year, I was actually pretty active in the golf industry. Had
Okay.
some opportunities there. I had a professional golfer reach out to me a few years ago to work, and I worked with him as a mental coach. And it was a sport that I understood pretty well. I also think, as far as sports go, the mental game is extremely important. So it was very attractive to me to get into that space. And so I was pretty successful through social media there, but mostly focused on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. But then, ever since wanting to move into the corporate space, LinkedIn has become the space where I'm trying to be more active. I'll be honest, I'm pretty new to LinkedIn and using it in this capacity. And I'm learning it's a very different ecosystem than the one that I'm used to. I think the same basic principles apply, but that right now is my main focus. The other thing that I've started using that seems to be working pretty well is providing people with an opportunity to take a free assessment. So they fill
Mm,
out an assessment, both about their physical and mental, whether it's individual or team. And then based on that assessment, I can again use this customization process and provide them with a preview of what their training program would look like. So rather than just hire me because I say I'm good, let me show you, let me
yeah.
give you an idea of the type of work we're going to do together so that you can make an educated decision instead of just jumping in blindly and not being really sure what it is I do. So this is the kind of funnel that I'm trying to use right now, which is this kind of intake process that gives me some information about the client so that I can then turn around, provide them with a really solid understanding of the work that we'll be doing together, and then they can make an educated decision on whether or not they want to continue forward.
Yeah, so very clear up front, which is always good. And I suppose even that, just making sure that the prospect is ready or that the client is ready to jump in and have that form of commitment as well, because for that inner work and that mindset work has to be a lot of dedication on their part as well as yours,
Yeah, I
correct?
want people to know what they're getting themselves into, and
Yeah.
I'm very honest about that. I'm like, look, if you're not willing to push yourself in the gym, if you're not willing to do the breath work, if you're not willing to do what I'm going to ask you to do, then this isn't going to work, right? So as much as I want to work with just about anyone, I also need to know that that person is highly committed to the work.
And that's got to be number one factor at the end of the day. Is it going to work? And are you going to achieve your goals? So
Exactly, right.
it's
I mean, as a
basic.
coach, I want people to get results, but if they don't do the work, they're not going to get the results. So it reflects badly on me too. So I might as well motivate you and inspire you to do the work so that we
That
both win. We both win in that exchange.
that's it. We want winners on both sides of it, that double-edged sword moving forward. And then in terms of
Absolutely.
like social media and growing on like LinkedIn and Instagram, as you say, do you run any form of like paid ad campaigns or is it just purely organic outreach from
So
yourself?
far, organic, mainly because I'm really starting. I'm getting to know the platform.
Yeah.
Because I have a design background, I'm able to do a lot. I'm able to produce my own content. I've actually worked in video production, so I'm able to produce my own videos. And I really believe in this idea of kind of promoting through educating. So I want to
Mm,
provide content of value and not just keep telling people, hire me, hire me, hire me. It's more like, no, let me show you what I do. Let me show you the extent of the knowledge that I provide. And then if that connects with you, then let's have a conversation.
yeah.
So far it's very organic, but I'm definitely open to the idea. I just need the right strategy and kind of learn more about it, basically.
Yeah, cool. The other thing with ads, they'll just help bring with that consistency that organic doesn't always provide. So it's nice
Yeah.
to have the two. And the fact that you're very big on knowledge at the front end is always amazing when it comes to like being authentic and just really positioned as that specialist online. And then I suppose when it comes to a team as well, are you still a solopreneur, Patrick, or do you have people on the back end that do help
I am
out?
solo. I am solo, and sometimes I think it's a bit of it's a blessing and a curse that I can do all these things, that I have all these extra skills because I don't have to hire someone. But I often wonder if I didn't have these skills, maybe I would have built a different business model that allows me to hire people to take care of some of these things on the back end. which is definitely the goal moving forward. I would like to be able to spend more time on the coaching and developing the programming and not having to spend the hours that I spend right now on, creating posts and creating videos and doing all that other stuff that it does take time. I enjoy it. I do really enjoy that creative work, but I also know that it's taking time away from the other things that I could be doing to grow the business.
Yeah, 100%. And juggling those like many hats as a founder is definitely a struggle for everybody coming through. And then with regards to like the sales process as well, do you obviously still take sales calls as well as your calendar? It's like obviously doing coaching as well.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
basically doing everything. Yeah.
doing everything, the
Yeah,
whole
doing
shebang.
everything. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Love it. And then in terms of like your plans moving forward then, so like what do the next 6 to 12 months have in store for you as you look to scale and grow the company to
Yeah,
another
so
level?
I've been working a lot on that, this kind of short term, long term, and understanding both. I think in the short term, it's really just getting as many coaching clients as I can.
Yeah.
And whether it's one-on-one for individuals like, executives, leaders, even athletes, to team. I love the team dynamic. I love workshops. So I've been working on this really amazing workshop concept, again, highly customized to the specific team and industry, which has been really, I guess, eye-opening for me to see that everything that I do is kind of the foundation of the coaching process. But then
Mm,
because of AI customization, I can make it very specific to their needs and industry. So it's just created this really interesting dynamic. And then because I come from a creative space, I love working with maybe just like creative companies like marketing, advertising agencies, anyone really working in the production and design space because it's a flow that I really understand well. So that's probably the next 6 months or so. I'm really going to focus on that while building kind of the vision that I have is a performance academy that provides kind of on-demand solutions for scalability because I want to get away from the hourly coaching model. Not completely, but I don't want that to be what holds me back because that obviously can't scale because there's only so many hours in a week that I can work, and I recognize that. And so I see the vision of what this could be if I can, use video, use different platforms to create these coaching solutions that can then provide the foundation for a big education platform that could serve people in a very different way than I could possibly provide one-on-one or in an hourly coaching model.
yeah, I love it. So like more of a tiered evergreen system, as you say, so
Yeah,
people can just really get the knowledge they need and not be relying so much on your input from it.
exactly. And I think also eventually to be able to bring other coaches in and help them kind of use the system that I created. And I think that's
Yeah.
where it would get really interesting as well.
Yeah, beautiful. And where are you finding like the biggest challenge for yourself in setting that up and taking the next step?
Like I said before, the fact that I can do so many things, I find myself like multitasking is great, except it's not, right? Because if I'll spend an entire day building a website. I'm like, okay, that's great, but I could have been making sales calls. I could have been working on my coaching programs. I could have
Yeah.
done all these other things. So I think number one is really learning how to just figure out a way to get other people involved and to grow this business to a point where I can afford to bring other people in to help with some of
Mhm.
those tasks. I think the other thing is moving into the corporate space, kind of figuring out what is the best messaging. What is it that I should be sharing? What is it that people want to hear? What is it that brings people in? And then education, because this model of using human experience and combining that with AI customization, from what I've seen so far, it's not something that everyone's doing. So it's new, it's exciting, it's something that I really believe in, and I've seen great results with so far. But it's going to require a certain amount of education to make sure people know what it is and get an idea of how it can help them, and obviously, hopefully, inspire them to work with me.
Yeah, beautiful. And a lot on your plate, from what it sounds like, they're moving forward for the next year. Just
Yeah,
really navigating and managing your time well to keep it moving.
exactly.
Patrick, I have one final question to ask you before we log out. So,
Yeah.
if you could go back in time, to a younger self, and you could only leave yourself with one piece of advice moving forward, something you know now, but that you didn't know then, what would you say to yourself?
Start building your foundation now. Start working on the business side of things. I think when I was much younger, I was extremely creative, but had a really hard time kind of building systems and being able to think of it more as a business. And I
Yeah.
think that's what's missing. That's one of the things that's held me back the most is having this very creative mind and loving to go in all these different directions, but then realizing that's great. But if you don't have a solid business foundation, you're never really going to be able to grow this into what you want it to be. And so if I
Yeah.
could go back, that's definitely the advice that I would give myself would be to, hey, let's figure the business side of things. The creativity is always going to be there. Don't worry. Like that part I can handle easily, but let's build a solid business foundation. And that way we'll be able to grow this into something very sustainable.
Yeah, I love it. Very practical advice to yourself as well, which is
Yeah, yeah.
cool. Good to see. Very productive. And Patrick, thank you so much for joining us today and for sharing your incredible journey and insight with us. Where can our listeners reach out best to connect with you, work with you, and just check out all the hard work that you're doing at the moment?
So the new website is movebreathezone.com. And that's my handle on Instagram, handle on Facebook, and LinkedIn is just Patrick Sebastien.
Beautiful. Beautiful stuff. Thank you again for joining us. And to our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to go and check out Patrick and all the amazing work that he's doing. And do not forget to subscribe to Founders Future by wherever you listen to your favourite podcasts. And if you are a business owner, specifically a coach, consultant, or agency owner, and you're really looking to scale your business and you want to enhance your sales and marketing efforts, visit closers.io to hop on a call with one of our team and discover how we went from $0 to $30 million per year in less than 3 years. But until then, keep on climbing and we will see you on the next one.